Hi, I'm Kaira Tucker. I'm a reference librarian in the Genealogy and Local History Department at the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County. I'm going to show you a little bit about how you can search for your Cincinnati ancestors' vital records. Those are birth, marriage, and death records, and they're really useful to genealogy research and family historians because they not only tell you the dates of when those big life events occurred, but they can also give you some biographical detail about people as well, and help you keep moving backwards in your family tree to find even more names. So they're in different websites. We're going to look at 3 different resources, and this is by no means an exhaustive list, but they're kind of my go-to places when I'm researching. We'll look at a local government website database, we'll look at a university one, and also just sort of a general genealogy website that has a ton of resources online too. So we'll take a look at those, see what they're like, and see what you might be able to find while you're doing your research. The first place we're going to look for vital records locally is the Hamilton County Probate Court website at probatect.org. So along the top, we're going to click on Court Records, and then Archive Categories. This will take us to a page that gives some information about what's available. And if you scroll down after this explanation, it gives you the listing of the categories of what's available online. So there are vital records here, but there are also other useful types of collections like wills and naturalizations. So we click on marriages, it gives you the time frame that they cover as well, some information about what they have, and we're actually going to look at this marriage license index to find who we're looking for, because we can't pop in a couple of names into a search bar. And once we look at the index, that will give us a volume and page number for the original record. So I'll demonstrate that now. Here's the page where it's broken down by year and then alphabetically by surname. We'll scroll down a bit and we'll go to this collection that has 1920 through 23. This will be surnames beginning with the letter A. And these are very, very roughly alphabetical, so you might have to do a little bit of digging looking through. As you'll see, it'll have the alphabetical by first name sometimes too. So let's look at Arthur Allison. We can see that he's going to be in volume number 305 on page 413. That blank space just means a ditto mark beneath the 305, so we know to look there. Now we'll go back a couple of pages to where we could search for the volume and page number. Type those in. And click go. And this will bring up the original marriage record. So here's Arthur Allison with Louise Valentine. And different time frames will have different amounts of information on the marriage records. Earlier ones are not going to be necessarily this robust, but still can get you the information that you're looking for. You can also download and print these as well. Back on the Archive Categories page, we'll take a quick look at the birth records and the death records that are available. Again, they show you the time frame that they cover. We'll click on birth records and go to that page. Navigating through these you'll find is very similar to looking through the marriage records. Again, you'll need to go to the index, look by surname and then first name to find the volume number and page number, and on that page you can type those in. And then death records are quite different from the other two. In fact, I encourage you to definitely read what's available here to get an idea of how you can navigate through these and how they're organized. It also explains how the courthouse fire and floods impacted the records, and even how the public were encouraged to help them recreate what was lost. Now we're going to visit the University of Cincinnati Digital Collection and Repositories website. Kind of a long URL to recite, but if you Google that information, it should bring this page up. These are birth and death records 1865 to 1912. They are a collection of index cards, and this part of the page will tell you a little bit more about the collection. And definitely scroll down to the frequently asked questions part of the page, because it will tell you how to search by a street address or by an occupation or even over a range of years. So we'll click Visit Digital Collection. You can see where they're broken down by year, where you can click and browse through, but there's also a full text search where you can just type in a name and click go. There's also the advanced search option that will give you a few more boxes to type in names and dates. So let's take a look at what they are like. We'll click on this very first option here. And you'll see that the birth cards are typically in white and the death ones are in kind of this orangey red. So let's take a look at Kate's birth record here. Again, these are index cards and they're not original, but they are definitely an important resource to access. So here's Kate. It tells you parents' names, address, birth date, and then the death card will tell you the person's name, address, where they were born, where they're buried, and cause of death. Next, we're going to visit FamilySearch.org. And in order to access what they have online, you'll need to create a free account and sign in. And we're going to look at the Ohio death records and the Ohio Death Index. So we're signed in. We'll go to Search along the top, and then Records. Family Search is a huge website with a ton of great resources, but this is usually a fairly easy way to navigate to the geographic area of interest. I like to use the map, so I clicked on the United States, and now I'll scroll down and look for Ohio. And once we click that, it will take you to a page where they have all of their Ohio resources for research pulled together. I'll scroll down to look for Filter by Collection, so we can select a specific collection to look at. The collections with the camera to the left will tell you that the original records are viewable online. Let's look at Ohio deaths 1908 to 1953 because we can see the original death records in that collection. I'll just search for a fairly simple name and click on death to type in the death location, and then the year 1918 just to see what we can find. Click on search, and here we have some results. On the far right, I'm going to go over to that camera so I can go straight to the original image. I'll click on that. And we'll let this load. It might take a second. You can click this down arrow here to give yourself a little more space to view. And here we have the original record. I'm going to use the plus sign on the left to zoom in. And here we can see the name of the deceased, personal and statistical information. It will tell you the names of the parents and where they were born, the cause of death, and even burial location. For deaths after 1953, though we can't view the original records, we can look at the Ohio Death Index. I've gone back to the main Ohio page and definitely click that View All if you'd like to see what else is available. But we're going to go here first and just take a look and see what those results are like. I'm going to search for the name Smith in Cincinnati, click on death, type in that location. In 1980. Now this comes from Ancestry.com that Family Search has this available through. And we'll take a look and see what those results are like. Though it's not the original record, and we know that because it doesn't have a camera icon, we can at least see the person's death date, their marital status, age, and other information that will be helpful to deciding whether or not this is the person that you're looking for your family tree.
Thanks so much for watching! Hopefully this will get you closer to finding the vital records of your Cincinnati ancestors. So if you have any questions about this or other genealogy and local history questions, you can email us at history@cincinnatilibrary.org. Thanks again.